Howdy ladies and gents, this is Jason, and today I am taking a look at Bioshock Infinite, which is out on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. Now, topping a game as beloved as the original Bioshock is a tall order. As such, it's only fitting that the latest iteration of the series aims high and reaches for the sky, literally, by setting Bioshock Infinite in the fictional floating city of Columbia. Before we get there though, we actually start out on the down low, so to speak, as Booker DeWitt, a Wounded Knee survivor tasked with finding a girl in order to erase his gambling debts. It doesn't take long, however, before you find yourself strapped to a seat and shot up sky high to Columbia. Ah yes, Columbia. A place where cities float, the founding fathers are portrayed as actual religious fathers, and little kids can smoke a puff of mini victory. That's just so wrong on so many levels. Basically, it's like an eclectic mix of early 20th century Americana, nerdalicious steampunk, southern charm, religious nuttery, and a horribly misinformed populace. What could possibly go wrong? Now, first off, I must say that the devs did a great job in designing Columbia. As someone who appreciates history and old-style architecture, I actually dig this kind of stuff. And while I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, I did come back from a trip to Boston, and walking the Freedom Trail now makes me feel like a bona fide history expert. Did you know, for example, that the Boston Tea Party folks actually dumped cocoa powder instead of tea? Well, actually, I just made that up, but if you say something with enough conviction, someone out there is bound to believe what you're saying. Anyway, it doesn't take long before you find yourself in deep trouble after being identified as the false shepherd. Fortunately, Booker's quite handy with firearms, and it doesn't take long before he starts dispensing his own personal brand of debt-ridden tough love. I got bills for you people! Well, he's got bills to pay. A special note is Booker's Sky Hook, not to be confused with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar version, which is great for scoring, but not so great against people with baseball bats. In addition to dishing melee hits, the Skyhook also allows you to travel across sky rails like a human roller coaster, a great way to get from point to point and also deal swift, deadly justice from above. You also have access to useful wardrobe known as gears, which grant you protection or added abilities such as setting your targets on fire with a melee strike. Rounding out Booker's arsenal are Vigors, a deadly selection of out-of-this-world powers that allow him to do anything from controlling foes, hurling firebombs, sending out deadly crows, and blasting targets high up in the air. You can also use Vigors to set traps, or even combine them to trigger some awesome combos. Eventually, you join up with your mysterious target Elizabeth, who proves to be an invaluable asset thanks to her unique set of skills. These include finding goodies such as money, ammo, and health packs, picking locks, materializing objects from thin air, and just being darn good company. Along the way, both characters unravel the mystery behind the floating city, themselves, as well as Columbia's enigmatic founder Zachary Comstock, a cross between a religious cult figure and Southern-style officer who orchestrates Columbia's secession from the Union. Storytelling is actually one of the strengths of Bioshock Infinite, which does a great job of developing the relationships between various characters while also touching on controversial topics such as religion, racism, and labor strife. Meanwhile, the addition of hidden vigors and gears, as well as the need to keep your finances up in order to afford power upgrades, encourages players to explore every nook and cranny of Columbia's locales. As great as Bioshock Infinite is, however, it also has its share of issues. Picking or identifying stuff in the field, for example, can be wonky at times. The Skyhook rail sequences, while fun, can also be confusing, especially when the enemy AI goes wonky on you and gets stuck. There was a gondola sequence, for example, where some rocketeers just got stuck in place and I basically couldn't hit them, preventing me from advancing the story. There were also times when I found myself stuck on a stairwell. The game can also be short for players more used to a Call of Duty style run-and-gun approach and don't take the time to look around and search for stuff. Finally, replay value can be limited for folks who decline to tackle 1999 mode. Honestly though, most of those drawbacks are essentially nitpicking for a game that does an excellent job of merging great storytelling with an incredible environment and rock-solid gameplay mechanics. Not only is this easily one of the best games I've played so far this year, it's also one of the best games I've played, period. This is Jason once again, and thank you for checking out my video review of Bioshock Infinite.